just 22 years old and already making history. The reigning Mosconi Cup MVP, stepping onto the biggest stage and delivering when it mattered most. Calm under pressure, fearless in competition, and built for the spotlight. One of the brightest young stars in professional pool.
Hey everybody, Bobby Hilton from the Boom and Freezer Show. We got a super guest for you today, none other than MVP of the Mosconi Cup from his hometown in Germany, Mr. Moritz Neuhausen. How you doing, Moritz?
How you doing, guys? I'm fantastic.
What's up, Moritz? Awesome to have you. Probably the play of the year, possibly in my opinion, but I'm a big fan, so we're happy to have you, man. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you guys for asking. I'm more than happy to hopefully share a couple cool views on the past weeks. And yeah, let's have a
I'll
good
correct
time.
that. One of the most improved players of the year, anyway. Not the player of the year, not yet. That's coming. I know that's
No,
coming.
I think there's no other than Yap. Must be
Right.
Aloysius.
Of course. Of
And
course.
I mean, of course, there's no way of putting me even into consideration. I don't think there's anyone else.
Right.
But there is nobody hotter than you right now. I mean, you just came off a huge win, not only win of Mosconi Cup, but MVP. You came in fourth, and I forgot the event in the Philippines, second in the Hanoi, and you won the Philippines. So that's a pretty strong run right there, Moritz.
Yeah, thank you. I won the Perry Open, not the Philippines.
Oh yeah, so
But
yeah,
yeah,
the Philippines you came in fourth, right?
no, actually, in the
33rd, I
Philippines,
think. I think
yeah,
33rd.
Philippines, I lost early. I was really sick in the Philippines, so I lost early. But then I came in third in Qatar afterwards.
But that's what I
Yeah,
was thinking of, the guitar.
That was yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I won. I came in second in Hanoi, third in Qatar. I won the Perry Open, and then yeah, we went to Mosconi, and that was quite a good event too.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about. Let's get right into Mosconi because Mosconi's the hot topic there. Uh, we were there. Scott and I were both there. Scott was commentating, I'm sure, on a bunch of your matches, and every the talk was, even in the press conference, the rookie first time there. You didn't think nothing about that. We had Dave Bartosiak and other people in the crowd yelling rookies in the background. I mean, trying to do whatever they could to rattle you. And how are you able to stay calm like that, Moritz? How are you able just to block all that out or feed into it?
Mm, well, I did some mental preparation before I came to London. I just made sure to watch every single one of the Mosconi videos, so I know what was gonna like what I had to expect. And I mean, it was still much more impressive in person than on video, obviously. But it was good to just get myself to feel how it's gonna be. Obviously, it was much more intense in person, but I just wanted to make sure that I knew what to expect. And when I got there, obviously, I knew how it was going to be. I know there are many people. I know that they're shouting and screaming, and it doesn't matter if you're down on the shot or you're just thinking. They're gonna try to get into your head, and I knew in advance. And then also we spoke a lot about it with the team. They told us what to expect and how it's gonna be, and overall our team dynamic was so good that just felt like no matter if you made a mistake or not, they were going to be happy, and as long as you fight, that's what they care about, and that's what we all cared about. No matter if you lose or win or how good you play or bad you play, it was just about giving 110%, and that's it. And that's why I feel like me and Pius, it was not only me but it was also Pius, we both played really well, especially for being rookies. And I think that was probably just because of the team.
Yeah. I kind of want to circle back just a quick second, and we'll obviously go back to the Mosconi Cup. I'm sure we'll touch on that a bunch while we're doing this today. We circle back to the PLP in Bosnia, right? And I think you did. I don't know that you played your best that whole event. Obviously, I covered that whole event. But what you did do that whole event is stay very consistent. You were in the running the entire way. I know that after you won that PLP, but it was such a defining moment, in my personal opinion, for you. Of course, you won the ranking event, Jason Shaw's pool room, quite a long time ago now. You had a little bit of a quiet spell, but you were constantly improving on your game. And I'm going to touch on what I really like about your game as well, because in my opinion, your fundamentals are as good as they get. Your takeaway and your delivery are so solid. You get through the ball so well. And this is really, in my opinion, why your results, your hard work, your mental state, results are so good. But going to the PLP, right? We all know how grueling that event is. You can touch on how grueling that event is, but you were kind of hovering in the lead there, kind of hovering into the lead, and then boom, you make the finals, right? I think it was FSR, and I mean my head's kind of spinning because that event was just crazy. I think it was FSR that you defeated in the finals 7 games to 0, and nobody really saw that coming just because of the format and how close all these matches were. But something you and you can touch on the PLP, but something you and I talked about immediately after that event, and it kind of stunned me. But I didn't respond to you. We were just talking, and I said, "What's your plans? Where are you going next?" And I don't know if you remember this conversation. You got a lot going on, but you said, "I'm going home." I said, "You're going home," and you said, "Yeah, I've made the decision to only start playing majors going forward." And when you said that, I thought, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But as we're standing together talking, the more I thought about it and the commitment that that takes and the training that you're going to do in between those majors, it really made a lot of sense because, in my opinion, if you're going to do something like that, it puts even more pressure on you to perform very well. Because instead of playing all these little events and wearing yourself out and maybe doing good in one, but it's not the majors, now you're really putting it on yourself to perform in these major events to where the heat is on. And I just wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
so what
absolutely.
do you think?
Um, well, let me start with the preparation for the PLP, or maybe the beginning of 2025. Because last year I really tried to chase Mosconi. I was pretty close 2023, but then I got sick at the US Open. I was on a good run. As you mentioned, I won the Culees tournament in Jason's room, so I was on a good roll. Then I got sick. I played terrible. I lost to Beisterbosch to get to the last 32, I think. So I was close to the Mosconi, then didn't quite make it. Then in 2024, I told myself just go and play every event. So I did. I went to Mexico. I went to China twice. I went to Colombia. I went everywhere. I played all these events in the US, and I ended up doing worse than the year before. So I was like, how does that make any sense? I had a good finish in the International Open last year, but I was like, well, how is that correlated? I played more. I feel like I'm improving, yet like the results are getting worse. So then I realized, okay, maybe for me it's better to just stay home more, practice more, make sure my mental health is like I'm happy. I just need to be happy. And I think that's why Aloysius is so good. He always seems to be happy. He's not bothered. He loves to travel and he just plays. That's what he could do. For me personally, I need to be home for a while. I need to go to the gym. I need to do my stuff, also work out on the pool table. I need the practice. So I realized maybe it makes more sense to take off some time to get back to Germany, practice, work with my coaches, and then go out there and compete again. Because we have enough events right now. We have enough major events. There's lots of money to be made. So why go to every small event, waste my energy possibly, and then go to the big events and not have any energy. So I really felt like it was something I could just try. If it didn't work out, then I had something else to try. Maybe, I don't know, travel to the Philippines and just play for 6 months straight and then get better. But I knew that something had to change. And I guess this year worked out pretty well, even though like the first half of the year was pretty slow. We didn't have many events. I decided to skip a couple events for multiple reasons. And then towards the end of the year, the last 6 months were really packed with tournaments. It was tournament after tournament after tournament. So yeah, I guess now I learned how to do both a little bit.
And I'm sure Bobby's going to touch on it. So, how quickly did you realize at the beginning of the year that your mental state was in a much better place? Did you kind of feel like that decision that you made after the PLP to just start taking more time for yourself and your mental health? Did you kind of realize that pretty quickly? Because I think it doesn't really matter. If you're happy, like you just touched on, I know from a pro player aspect, you've got to be happy. If you're happy, I think you know right away, irregardless of the results,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I think it was both like a mental state to where like off the table how I felt, but also on the table. There were many things that I changed in my practice. and many things about how I play pool now, to where it might not affect me as much feeling bad or feeling good, like I feel like now I'm at a point where even if I wasn't feeling like the best physically, I can still play pretty well because I just conditioned myself enough. But before it was also because of all the traveling, I was getting sick all the time at every event. The matchroom staff knows. I was just always sick. Even at this Mosconi, I was sick because my immune system isn't as strong. So I just tended to get sick. Then I get upset because I travel all the way. Let's say I travel all the way to Hanoi. I try to play, and then I'm in my hotel room with a fever, barely get out of bed to play. Obviously, you don't play great, you lose, and then you're upset.
I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine that. That would get very frustrating.
Yeah, I
Exactly. So
know.
I was really frustrated. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no good. I was saying I noticed that at Moscone. I was going to ask you about the press conference, but since winning the MVP, I noticed you had a tissue out there. You had a little runny nose. You weren't feeling well, right? A little bit.
Yeah, you and
Yeah,
Pius were both sick, right? You and
yeah,
Pius were
yeah.
both sick.
Well, Pio said he's not sick very often, and he also recovered quite quickly. But to be fair, he was also sick during the entire Mosconi. Like his duration was only like 5 or 6 days, maybe, or maybe a week. But for his, it was the worst timing. For me, I got sick in Scotland right when we got there. I wasn't feeling great, and then all the way up until now, my nose is still running. I still have a cough. So as you can see, my immune system is just slower than maybe other people's immune systems. But I realized that it's not an excuse. I just have to make adjustments to where I can get my schedule right, get my nutrition right. Then I found some supplements that help me to strengthen my immune system. Then whenever I'm on the plane, for example, I have to wear a mask because that's the only thing that maybe helps me. I feel like at least, it's worth trying. So
I don't want to
these
get
are
Moritz. I don't want to get too personal here, but have you looked into this with a good physician, with a good doctor?
yeah, I did. I went to the doctor a couple times, like when I was sick, then after I was sick, and they just say some people just seem to have a bad immune system, and I think it's related to all the COVID times when we all like had shutdowns. Our immune systems probably weakened because we weren't exposed to as many bacteria and viruses. And I guess my immune system is still trying to catch up. And then the issue that I had was when I was just a little sick, I would always catch like some bacterial infection. And that's what got me real good a couple times. Even this year at the UK Open, I was sick like crazy. Like I couldn't move. I woke up and I felt like I was in a bathtub, completely soaking wet because of all the sweat. And I was like, what's going on? So yeah, I spoke to my doctor a couple times, and now it's upon me to find supplements that help me. And I found a couple things for my gut that strengthen my gut, and I feel like it might come from the different foods to where my body might not be, ideally prepared. But now it's been getting much better, and I knew if I wasn't getting sick all the time, that would also help me to play better, obviously. So these are the things that I changed. I also changed, as I said, traveling less, focusing more on practice, and these are the things that kind of, I guess, just slowly build up. And then towards the middle and end of the year, I started to play really well, even in the US trip with the US Open, the Florida Open, the Battle of the Bull. I felt like I played really well. It was just not meant to be. While other times you feel like you played bad. At the PLP, for example, I feel overall, yeah, I played steady, but it wasn't my A game, it wasn't my B game. I didn't really play extraordinary. It was just I was there, I played solid. Yeah, you could lose to me if you made mistakes, but I had a tough time creating those openings, and also sometimes just keeping up. Like Robbie and Chua, they played unbelievable the whole event.
It's
And then
funny
I
you
guess
say
they
that
just
because Scott and I, we have people on the show all the time. FSR, they say the same thing. Sometimes you don't play your A game and you win, and you play your A game and you don't win. Right? That happens. It's the way it is in this sport. It's just part of the things, and you handle that very well because some people can't handle that because they say I played so well and I didn't win, and it emotionally takes a drain on them. Right?
I totally agree. That's the toughest part also, and I'm able to say it now, and I'm able to say to take it right now and just say, hey, I played great. I know what I did, and it's good. But there will be times, and I've been through times like last year when I was just getting frustrated with me playing okay and still losing, and I felt like I never played worse than my opponent, but I just didn't win. So eventually, like I think it's like mood swings kind of. Some like in periods you can just really deal with it well. Sometimes you have a hard time accepting it. right now I'm doing good also because obviously I've had some success in the past. So I'm satisfied for now, but I know there will be times, and these times will come for everyone, as we see with Federer right now, where you might not play your best, and then all of a sudden you don't win anymore because the players, they lose their fear. That's what Federer had. That's what Fran had. That's what Yap has right now. They don't have to play as well anymore because people are just afraid of their name. Same with Joshua. I mean, how many people are just afraid when they see, oh, I play Josh? They'll be like, oh no, I can't win. And then Josh plays good, or Fedor, or Yap, or Fran, but they don't play to their best. And then they still win easily because of, the lack of resistance, I want to
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
say.
this is the ebbs and flows of the game, right? I did go through a period. I don't even know if you were born yet, Moritz. God,
He was
I'm
young. He
old,
was
but
young.
I'm old, but I went through a period where I'd go to the Derby City Classic every year, and I'd offer to, there was thousands of players there, and I'd get on the microphone and offer to play anybody for 100,000 down to 10,000, and nobody took the offer for many years. My whole point there is when you just said the name, right? When our tournaments back then were way different, but I was so confident because if we play a long enough match, I know I'm probably gonna outrun it and get there. The tournaments with what you guys are doing, I've got to say this, and I don't want to build you up or get in your mind at all, but you, you're going to have more successful moments. Absolutely, you're going to lose more than you win. That's the nature of the sport. But you're going to have more successful moments. I talk about when I'm commentating your matches. I do a lot of teaching. I've actually had some great players come here. I can't talk about that. People are flying to me to teach now, and I've worked very hard on that. Your transition, your transition, your takeaway, and your delivery with the lack of body movement, how solid you are over the ball, it only bodes for success. Obviously, you've put the hard work in. I personally do not think, and I include Yap in this category, I do not think anybody looks better over the ball in the final transition than you right now. And when I say right now, I just don't, you're young. I don't see that going away anytime soon. Obviously, you want to keep a humble head. So I'm not trying to like build you up, but I'm just telling you what I see from the outside. It just looks like you're never going to make a mistake, and you're also exuding a ton of confidence when you're going through those motions.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned this. Um, yeah, it was hard work. It wasn't like just given to me, but it's like two things. First of all, yeah, I might be the best right now at like certain things, but it takes at least the same amount of work, maybe more, to just keep it up because everybody's improving. As you can see, like there's so many Asian players coming up. You have more US players coming up in the future, hopefully. European players, there are many like coming up. So there's always this motivation that you're not only trying to get there, but also stay there. Like where Fedo is or Yap, like the people on top, that's where it becomes difficult. You're not trying to get there only, but you're trying to stay there. And that's where the hardest work and the hardest mental work comes into play because it's easy or easier to chase someone than being the chased.
Much easier,
Um,
much easier.
yeah,
It's no fun being
I
at the
mean,
top because sooner or later you're going to lose that top position.
exactly. So now, even though I've had some success, I wasn't nearly as successful as other players. But now it's time to just dial in and really make sure I maybe get to the top and then stay there. While other players, they want to get there. And to me, I still didn't realize I played the Mosconi. To me, it's still like, yeah, one day I want to play Mosconi. Then the next goal was one day I might be MVP, but that's also like really based on luck. So
Lucky, lucky,
these are
lucky.
things, lucky, lucky, lucky. That's how it goes. So these are things that just in my mind, and I'm sure it's the same for many other pro players, we're just so hungry for more and just so hungry to get better that it doesn't even make a difference what you win or like where you stand in the rankings. Just the closer that you get to the one, like to number one, the harder you want to work. And that's the same for me. I feel like now I want to work more. Now I want to make sure I can prove everybody that it wasn't just a one time thing, but it's like a long time thing or long term where I can keep up the level and hopefully be one of the ones that leave a legacy behind. Like, I mean, probably it's impossible, but like Efren or Earl or maybe Kaiser or SVB,
Never
it's
impossible.
just,
Never.
And
nah,
you're
You
on
but
can
the
do it.
way.
it's never impossible, but you got to be realistic. Nowadays,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
probably much
It's
tougher than
hard.
back then.
Yeah. Well,
Not taking away anything from them, obviously, but it's just there's so many great players right now, so many young players, so many older players, to where the density is really high.
it's more
Absolutely.
global now too. There's more from all over. Like back, in 70s, 80s, it was most United States and a couple from other. Now you have the whole world colliding. You got
Yeah.
talent from all over the world. I want to give you a quick shout out, like Scott did as well. Not only like your technique and your stroke, as Scott was touching on, but I've known you since you were younger. You came to Yale, played Lucas a long time ago. I think you were like 18, and something about you were actually kind of guiding Lucas, telling him what to do. You have something about you. You seem to get it. Like you're more mature for your age. Like you're only 22. You're already talking about I wasn't feeling well, so I tried this. I didn't do well this year, and I tried this. Tell me where that comes from. Do you have guidance, your coaches, family, or I mean, you're obviously an intelligent guy and you're taking everything in, but where do you get that from? Because it seems like you're doing everything right.
Mm. Well, that's what it seems like, right? I would not talk about the things that I maybe did like totally wrong, but to be honest, I was lucky enough to find people that were just trying to help me, and it was always that I surrounded myself with older people. Um, I don't want to say
I
old
did the
people,
same.
but maybe older people, because they're like kind of your age, John Francisco, for example, or like most of my coaches, they're like 50 or 60, and I
Yeah.
feel like just their wisdom is worth so much more. Why would I surround myself with people my age? We're all still making mistakes, while I could be hanging out with someone that already made these mistakes and I can just learn from them. So I just try to, like, the best rooms to be in are the rooms where you're not the smartest person. If you're the smartest person in the room, you should be in another room. And
I
that's the
absolutely love
mentality,
what you're saying.
that's the
Yeah.
mentality that I follow. Like, about life, you can always learn more about life, always more about the mentality, the way you see things. So yeah, I guess that's where it comes from just older people. My family was always very passionate about me being like a pool player, and they were really um driven, and that's how I would describe myself too. I'm driven to just improve and ambitious, and that's where it comes from. I'm just always hungry to learn. I'm hungry to become better, and I also like to see, as you mentioned, like for example, Lucas. I'm always happy to tell him something, or like maybe find ways where he could do something different, because I feel like I was lucky enough to have people telling me some things. And if I mean, it's nice to see other people succeed too.
Well,
Moritz,
I
I'm going to
think
interject real quick,
go
Bobby.
ahead.
Right?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. This is why I think this podcast is so important. In my opinion, in 3 seasons, and I don't know if everybody's catching this moment, but what you just said about surrounding yourself around older people. Um, when I was coming up, I did the same. I was around Billy and Cardona and Jack Cooney, two absolute legends. It's not about me. I'm not talking about that. But what I am talking about is the generations now. And what I will touch on there, and I hope they short this or clip this, because Morch just touched around being the smartest person in the room. You never want to be the smartest person in the room, ever. And I always surrounded myself around older people, just people that are really intelligent. It doesn't have to be a pool player that you're surrounding yourself with. I'm talking about you. I'm talking to you young players out there, okay? You young, hungry players that want to get better. Surround yourself around successful people. Doesn't have to be a pool player, because when you're around somebody successful, I promise you, they're going to motivate you in the right direction to improve in whatever you're doing in your daily life, whether it be professional pool, whether you're an artist, whether you're a fisherman, whatever it might be. So, what he just said, in my opinion, is probably for the youth the most important thing that I have heard come out of a pool player's mouth since we've started this podcast.
Yeah, I want to say the same thing. I was literally going to tackle you and say the exact same thing. What he said there is, you had somebody that won the PLP, and as Scott touched on it, the people that you played in that event and the Cooley's event. I mean, you're playing all the killers, Shane Van Boney, FSR, everybody. You win those events, you win the MVP Mosconi, and you're still saying, I listened to other people. That's
Oh, yeah.
really strong. That's strong. A lot of people at that point say, I got this. What you're saying is humble, respectful, and gets mad respect from me for sure.
Well, thank you, but I think it's just essential. What you said, Scott, is exactly right. Successful people in general, I think that they're like similar in many aspects to where they have similar character traits. So for example, no matter if you have a successful businessman or maybe artist or maybe a sports person, they're all driven, they're all just chasing their goals, they're willing to sacrifice things for what they want, for their goals. While other people might have been going to clubs and drinking all night, I was in the pool room playing and practicing. And so were you probably in your youth, when other people just did fun things, you knew what to do. And it's going to be the same for very intelligent people studying. They'll go back to their house and study or just find ways to improve. And I think that's where it's like, that's the biggest message. If you want to improve, you have to sacrifice things and just follow your goals and follow your heart. And if you're really passionate about it, it shouldn't even feel like you're actually sacrificing anything.
Yeah, really great question, Bobby. That brought that out in Moritz, and I mean, I don't even know why I've never touched on that, but until he said it, it's something that I hope these younger guys don't overlook. The problem nowadays is there's so many distractions, and I'm not just like thinking about Lucas Picasso or any young players really.
Yep.
There's so many distractions nowadays. It's easy to kind of lose course. But what he just said, it's really the gospel, and in my opinion, it's such a big part, and it all really comes down to how bad you want it, though, at the end of the day, how bad you really want it. And you can tell in the guys that want it that bad and the guys that don't.
I know, I agree 100%. And like I said, even at a young age, there's something about when he came in, it was different. With he had the mentality, he wanted to win and do all that, but there was something. He's got a little something on him, a good edge on a good head on his shoulders. Keep that humbleness and keep that learning because I think that's going to take it to the next level. You're already at the top level to the next level. I love what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I can or we can inspire some younger players because, like, exactly as you said, Scott, you really can tell by like everybody says, "Yeah, I want to win and I want to do this and that," but the only way you can actually tell is by their actions. Yeah, if they actually want to win or not.
100%,
I used to
100%.
I used to get really upset when I lost. I would run outside crying, and I was super upset not only because I lost, but because it told me I was worse than the other player in that moment. And to this day, there's nothing that I hate more than losing. But that's also a good thing. That's what keeps me motivated. I never want to lose. It doesn't matter. By now, it's at a point where me and my brother-in-law sometimes we play board games, and I can't play certain board games with him because I know it's just about being like there's not much luck involved. And when I lose, it just hurts me so bad that I can't take it. I can't. So I can't play with him. I know I'm gonna lose, and I can't play. It's
Well, now,
I'm
now,
smart enough to know.
yeah, now you know why I'm 50 years old and I put the cue down because I can't take not playing my game. And I know that most of the top players nowadays are just going to destroy me. So I just stay away. I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing where I'm at right now. And everybody's time comes, right? And that's why I don't know, dude. How old are you, Moritz?
22.
I was
and I
I
could
thought you were 23. It's just unbelievable how good
Yeah, and
these
you're
young
you're
guys
not
are,
the
man.
first person that said that you cried on the podcast. I think every pool player we
Oh,
had
I've
on
done
here,
it.
Scott, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
FSR said he cried when he had to play David, and he didn't even play him. He cried before he played him because he knew he was going
Oh,
to
yeah.
lose
Yeah.
when he was
Yeah, you gotta
younger.
be emotional, right? You gotta these that's how bad these guys want it.
Yeah,
If you're not
100%.
that way, then that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I love that emotion. Let's talk a little bit about your country and your countrymen. All right, let's talk a little about Germany. Obviously, you have Joshua Filler. What a great player he is. Right, he's won almost everything and number one player for a while. Mosconi MVP from the past, and then you got the youngster Felix. Right, another guy from your country. What's going on in your country? What are you doing to get all these players? And how is that happening? Is there you guys talk a lot or?
And I
We're
will
just feeding
interject real
feeding him
quick.
right.
Go ahead and answer. Yeah, yeah, you can answer that question. I'm gonna just say it. Josh Filler is the best player in the world. In my opinion. I've never seen anybody contact the cube all the way he has. He and I have played multiple times in tournaments, but when you're up close and really sense what Josh Filler can do, he's the best player in the world.
Yeah, so I think we feed him right, but honestly, I think the overall
We
structure is
feed them
pretty good
right.
in Germany. The German potatoes are just
Okay.
different. Now, the German structure is really good. It's really good to, I guess, find new players. We have different ways of finding them. Like we have, so the biggest difference is we don't actually have, or we do have pool clubs. So it's like a soccer club for pool. That's a place where you would just go and only play pool, and you have like no distractions. Well, for you guys in the US, you mostly have pool rooms. They just pay their normal table time, or they might have like a weekly thing or monthly if they're lucky. But usually you pay your daily rate, you get like a flat. And it's just the overall principle is much different. Then also, we never work by
Explain
handicap
that,
systems.
Moritz. Will you explain that principle, the difference?
Yeah, so the difference is in Germany, for example, if you join a club, you pay, let's say, €50 a month or $50, and you get access to the pool club. So you can always play 24/7. You can meet up with your like teammates. We have all sorts of leagues, but it's the overall structure is more like a professional sport. Like
No
it's,
alcohol.
well, it depends. Some places you have some alcohol, but usually it's self-serve. So you just bring your own drinks. They're not meant to make a lot of money. So you have pool clubs that are, I think they're not even allowed to make money. Some of them they have to buy like expensive pool tables because they accumulated too much money. So it's not meant
Okay.
to make money. It's not profitable. It's
There's
just
no
a
music. There's
place.
no loud music in the background. There's no fancy
No, no, no.
business.
Like,
Yeah.
no. It's just based on pool pretty much. So
Yeah.
it's like a, yeah. If I'm alone there, yeah, I might put on loud music. But once there's someone else in there, you just practice together, or you have like multiple tables and you just do your thing. While in the US it's totally different. It's always in bars. Most of them serve alcohol. You have a bunch of people, then you have the regular customers mixed in with the ambitious players,
Yeah.
which is totally different. Then the league system is absolutely different. While you have, I think it's the APA league, right, where you
Yeah.
have
That's
APA.
different
one of the big
pools.
ones. We got a couple of them, but yeah, that's one of the big ones.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger ones. While we have like a national league in different divisions, and they go by ranking, or they go by player level. So you would start from the bottom and then go all the way up to the Bundesliga, which you might know from soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. So you always have steps you can take. If you get better and you see, okay, now I'm playing more of this kind of level, you just go up and maybe switch teams, or you rank up. While in the US, you have the handicap system, which equalizes everybody.
It
So
does not
you get,
drive them to get better either.
no, you get punished. I can't
Okay.
play in many of the events, and if I was to go to a handicap tournament, I have pretty much zero chance of winning
Yeah.
because of the way the handicap system is made. So you have like a sweet spot where you would be maybe like a 550 Fargo, 600, 650.
Yeah.
In that range, you have many events. You can gamble with loads of people, and you have always something to do. But there's never the intention of getting better. While in Germany, it's different. The only way you can make money is by getting better. The only way to win is getting better. That's the only way you get into the national team. They might, like, we have some sort of support system where they would cover some of the Euro Tour expenses or different events. I'm not sure. I'm not in that anymore. But they cover different expenses in
Now, is that
return
the
for like a
club? Is that the
percentage.
club or the
No,
government?
that's the government. That's the
The
national
government.
team. That's the German national team. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's not easy to get in there. We have loads of great players in Germany, but I think they only have space for seven or eight men. So it's a small team in comparison to the whole player base. And that's the biggest difference why we have so many good players. We have many professionals, like I'm one of them now, Joshua, then Torsten, Ralph, we had Engert, we had Ortman. So many like exceptional players. Then we have many players that you guys don't know about, and they're all like 780 Fagos,
Wow.
770 Fagos. They're
Yeah.
just unbelievable. They're really good. Like I might lose to them any day
Sure.
of the week.
Yeah.
And then you have like levels below. It's not like the Philippines, but it's kind of similar. You could run into a pool room and you just don't know who you're playing, and he's just gonna win against you and he has no trouble. And you're like, who's this guy? I don't know him. Sometimes it happens to me. I play someone, I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I not know him? And he's
Who are
really
you?
good. How
Yeah.
does, yeah, like, why do I not know you? So that's the difference. And that's why people like Felix, they can come up because they always have someone better to beat. They always have people to compare themselves to. And then because of the way society works here and also like the different sports, you don't have any handicap systems in no sports as far as I'm aware. You never get there's never the intention to stay on the same level. You always have to get better in order to get to new, I don't want to say like areas, but kind of areas to where from a small region you can go to a bigger region where you can compete against other players. It must be the same in the US, I'm sure, like from state
A
to
little
like national
different, a
championships.
little different. Yeah, like you
Yeah,
said, with
well,
all the handicaps and all this stuff, it's a little different.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
well,
like
that's different, but
Fargo is
Yeah,
great. I was a big pool room owner, one of the biggest in the country. I noticed right away, and I know the guy that developed Fargo. Fargo is great for a pool room. It is terrible for an up and coming player that wants to get better. It's
mm,
absolutely horrible because when I was
I
coming up,
agree.
I could play all the events, I could play the weekly tournaments, you know,
yep,
and we were giving up a handicap, but it wasn't like what happens now. I like you just said, I've got no chance. I'm like a 780 Fargo right now, and I haven't hit a ball in 4 years. You
right,
understand? So there's really no. It's very very difficult. It's good for a pool room. Fargo is, but Fargo is really damaged the opportunities for the youth to get better.
I think it just gives false, um how do you say,
Sense of
false,
security,
yeah, like
false
exactly,
hope.
you get, yeah, you feel like you are someone because you can, they might beat me or beat Joshua or Fedor or like any great player, any of the top 100, just because of the handicap. You walk into a pool room, the first thing they ask, what's your Fargo rate? I might want to play one pocket. I have no clue about the game. They see my Fargo rate and they're like, well, you have to give me 11-1 all
Right.
the breaks and you play with your left eye closed and on one foot. And I'm like, well, how does that make any sense? Like, why are we here? If I just wanted to donate money, I'll go to the next charity and just donate money there. Like, there's no point. And that's the issue. People just get the false sense of security and they feel like they're much better than they are. While others, they might feel like they're much worse than they actually are because Fargo just doesn't represent how you play in
right.
short term. Yeah, in the long run, it might if you go to international tournaments and you compare yourself to different regions, different countries where they have different Fargo rating standards, I want to say, like different player pools, then it starts to get precise. But I feel like if you're only locally based and you're trying to get better, looking at Fargo is not going to do you any favors.
We'll move
Like,
off from this. We'll get away from this, Bobby, and I'll let you run. But
yep,
this is what the podcast is for. And
yeah,
once again, if the younger generation is watching or anybody, and I promote this all through Phoenix, this where I live, Moritz is one of the biggest pool communities in America, if not the biggest for amateur players. But
Hmm.
all I tell them is, listen, don't be fooled by your Fargo. You've got to constantly want that number to go up. That should be your desire, not so that you can play some weekly tournament, win $300,
yeah,
not so you can stay at this level. You can't be fooled by the Fargo number. You have to
Hmm.
constantly want to improve that number. Since it's a thing, it's there. You've got to take it by the horns and constantly try and get that number higher. And
yeah,
everybody's just, the smoke and mirrors. Everybody's just kind of falling into this lull of wanting to stay at a certain pace and do this and do that, and
yeah,
that's where it really gets bad.
yeah.
But we'll move on from it.
Yeah, no, I got you. So, about the same thing. A friend of mine, John Yale, he won a weekly tournament. It was the only tournament he's played in. He just started playing in 15 years, right? He wins the whole tournament. He's at 920. Yeah, I don't know how's that even possible. He played one tournament
Yeah.
and he's like a 550 at best. You know what I mean? It's terrible. But
That
all right,
ain't
let's move on from Fargo. We'll see what happens. I think in the long run, Fargo's help out the world of pool. I think, right? Or no?
no.
The
I
world of
don't.
pool,
I
like
think
the whole
it's
like the
really damaged
countries. Yeah,
damaged the
that
American pool market for sure. As far as growing young
America. See,
players.
America. I said world. Like to get it just on
Well,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think to round this off, I think Fargo is not bad in principle. I think like you could say the same thing in chess must happen. Like ELO rating is something that is accurate. It's there, but I feel like the purpose of it is different than what people make it to be. If people just used it as an indicator, okay, how good am I and how far can I go up realistically, that's different than using it to stay in a certain
Right.
level and
I
to make
agree.
$200 weekly.
Yep.
So I think
Exactly what I
if you
just
could
said.
just
Yeah.
turn it
Yep.
around,
100%.
that's that's where it becomes interesting. But that's something for the future. I guess that's only time is going to tell. And if
Yep.
young players like you guys watching right now, if you just aspire to be a better player instead of winning $100 in a weekly tournament, which in the long run is not going to benefit you, then yeah, we'll hopefully see something happen to Fargo.
Such a smart man, Scott, right? Young
Yep.
man, start
Yep.
smart.
This break is brought to you by our sponsors. As you see on my shirt, you see Jay Flowers. Jay Flowers happens to be our title sponsor. But much, much more than that, Jay Flowers is my personal sponsor, and it's the cue that I play with now. I had a high end custom cue maker, which I loved, KT Custom Cues, which I loved for years. But now the market has completely changed. Technology has grown incredibly, right? It's grown incredibly. And these mass production cues are just unbeatable. You see all the elite players playing with these cues, and there's a reason for it. And it's not money. They're not going to take money over great play because tournaments pay a lot more. Okay. So jflowerscues.com is where it's at. jflowerscues.com. I play with the JF 2020 series. You've got to check it out. It's an extremely clean cue. The joint just has a copper ring. The butt has a copper ring. Everything else is ebony. This cue is incredible, and I truly mean that. I played with Carl Boys in a short video. I loved the cue, and I started to chase it down. It's the highest quality for the money. There's no question. After extensive R&D in manufacturing, it's been proven to host the lowest deflection in the market. But there's a catch. I play with the IMO shaft. That is wood and carbon. A lot of guys are getting away with the full carbon, especially me, because it's too much power for me. I'm used to playing with maple my whole life. So now I'm starting to go with a little bit more of the less power. The wood still spins the cue ball, but you're drawing the ball a little less if you've got that big power. Do me a favor, check out jflowerscues.com, enter code freezer.
The guy that made this banner right here, the Bowman Freezer. That's Elvis from In the Box. He's been with us since day one on the show. The Shark Stream Yield is my other business as well. We do business with them. They have these shirts and designs that are second to none. And you can go online at inthebox.com and check them out. They do personal jerseys, jackets, pretty much everything you need. They also sponsor players. And if you use the Bowman Freezer, you're going to get 15% off. That's right. You put your order in today, you can get the Bowman Freezer shirt. You can get your own custom jerseys, whether it's APA or your favorite player, anybody that you want to get. You can just say Bowman Freezer. You're going to get 15% your offer, 15% off your order. And that's Elvis in the box. So shout out to Elvis. Great job in the box.
Well, I don't really know where to begin here, but let's just start from the beginning. Classic Billiards in South Florida. I met Dave Bartosiak and Leah about a year and a half ago. And they immediately struck me as people that just don't stop. They don't quit. They don't give up. They just continue to push forward. And the vibe in their pool room is unlike any vibe I've ever seen prior. They want people yelling, screaming, having a good time. Not to mention their food is as good as it gets. They've got the honey barbecue garlic chicken wings, and people order them from all over that area, even if they don't play pool. Something even better is they just opened a 9,300 square foot addition that gave Classic Billiards 16 bar tables and 11 big tables with a special feature. That feature is a new arena called the Aramith Arena. And in my opinion, it's one of the most technologically advanced arenas in the world, with a raised and closed commentary platform that's directly over the TV arena. I had a little hand, very small hand in designing this, but I was with him when he was FaceTiming or he was FaceTiming me. And this place is fascinating. One last little drop here. They've collaborated with Matchroom, and they are the host of the Premier League pool this year, the PLP. We call it a major because it's such a tough event to win. Last year it was in Bosnia. Moritz Neuhausen won that event. This year it's in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to be particular. Classic Billiards. You got to give them a look up. If you're in the area, you better check it out. Leah and Dave Bartosiak give new meaning to new pool rooms. Beer, balls, and wings, baby.
I want to talk a little bit about Tommy Supplies. That's TommySupplies.com. And Tommy Supplies is a tattoo supplying company. They're one of the largest in the world. They're located right here where I'm from in Connecticut, and they are unbelievable. I checked out their factory. I'm friends with the owner, Tommy, and he's doing incredible things, not only for tattoos, but he also is all over the place. He does tattoo conventions and he's on the news. He's really doing big things. He's obviously sponsoring the Boom and Freezer show. So again, shout out to him. Great job. But Tommy's Tattoo Supply has some great products. They have Starbright ink. It's incredible ink. It's one of the most, I guess, best inks out there for tattoos. You got to check it out. That's TommySupplies.com. Get your products from them. TommySupplies.com. Tommy's Tattoos. Thanks for being a sponsor.
So whenever you're in the Phoenix Valley, whenever you're in the Valley of the Sun, it's here in Arizona. You've got to come to Phoenix and check out Metro Sports Bar and Grill. Metro Sports Bar and Grill is your host for sports. You can watch any of your sporting teams on, I think, 40 or 50 flat screen TVs. They've got a section just for sports. But more than that, they've got 8 pristine Blue Label 9-foot diamond tables. That's 8 pristine Blue Label 9-foot diamond tables. And this guy, David Lee, the owner, recovers these tables literally every few months. They play like brand new. If you ever get a chance, you have to stop in, especially to Metro Sports Bar and Grill. Not only that, they have 9, that's right, 9 Blue Label diamond bar tables, right? And they play absolutely perfect as well. They use only the best in Aramith pool balls. This place is your host for wings, beer, your best sporting events, and the best tables in the Phoenix Valley. No questions asked. Do me a favor, head over to Metro Sports Bar and Grill, say hello to David Lee, and use my name. Tell him you stopped in. Maybe he'll buy you a beer. Thanks to Metro Sports Bar and Grill.
Wayne Harriman, the Sandman. Wayne Harriman's been, he owned a company a while back and he sponsored the Boom and Freezer show. He since has retired and he still is a sponsor of the show. And I want to give a shout out to my man, Wayne Harriman. They call him the Sandman. Great player, a huge ambassador to the sport, always helping out, donating to charities and anything to do in the pool community that needs help. So I want to give a shout out to my man, Wayne Harriman, the Sandman. Thanks for sponsoring the Boom and Freezer show. We really appreciate it. I know Scott does, and I do as well. Thanks a lot, Wayne.
So we all love stories of tragedy to triumph, and this is definitely one of them. Manuel Gonzalez Jr. was tragically injured in Vietnam. He underwent multiple surgeries and ended up losing his right arm and his right leg. He ended up becoming one of the best pool players in the Denver area. And I think that's pretty heroic and inspiring. People would always ask Manuel, how did you do it? How do you do it? And he would simply look at them and say, control the rock. What he means by that is control the cue ball. Do me a favor. Please go to controltherock.com. Check out his story. There's a video on there, and it's pretty touching, pretty heartwarming, this video. His son, Manuel Gonzalez III, is spreading the word. He's become a good friend of mine, and he sent me something pretty special. And you can get this at controltherock.com. And it's the book, Control the Rock. And that's his father right there in a crutch. He was initially right-handed, became one of the best in the Denver area with his left. So if you don't understand that, that's inspiring. I just want to thank them for their support. I want to spread the word. ControlTheRock.com. Thank you guys so much for your support. You can get hats. You can get jerseys. Thank you guys.
I'll talk a little bit about my friend, Andy Gow. Andy Gow has been a friend of mine for a long time, and he is an inspiration to me. He's an actual pioneer. He's the one that pushed me to start doing videos and run my shark stream. And now he is a full-fledged sponsor of the Boom and Freezer show. And he is second to none as far when it comes to billiards. He's always supporting everybody as far as streaming, anything that's positive in the billiard community. He's making his name known in the billiard world. That's Andy Gow, and he has a motto. You know what his motto is? It's like, share, and subscribe. So here's to you, Andy. Thanks a lot.
It's the Pacific Northwest. That's right, the Pacific Northwest. It's PNW Pool Thing Stream. Now, listen, go to Facebook, PNW Pool Thing. That's what it is on Facebook, all one word. Jesse Johnson is the founder of PNW Pool Thing Stream. It's your home for medium to high stake action in the Pacific Northwest with a touch of woodland mystery. What I mean by that is Sasquatch is the logo, but they're up there in the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of woods up there. There's a lot of funny things going on, but you should check this stream out. 24/7 stream. This thing rocks and rolls. They've got action nonstop. And from what I understand, it's probably the best stream up there in the Pacific Northwest. Do us a favor, PNW Pool Thing on Facebook, all one word. Subscribe. It's free and enjoy the show.
I take a minute here to talk about Agape Sober Homes. Now, Agape Sober Homes is something close to my heart, and I'm sure everybody out there can relate that somebody had an issue where it's where they have abused drugs or alcohol and had a hard time dealing with it. What Agape does is they are a nonprofit organization, and they're looking for people that are interested in donating or helping out those in need. What they do is they have an awesome project there where they're trying to get as many homes available to these people that need it, and they do it in a nonprofit fashion. There also is a little thing there where you can actually become an owner and possibly purchasing rooms and houses for these people, for the people that need. So if you're interested in volunteering, donating, check out agape.com. The link is in the bio. Again, addiction is near and dear to everybody. Everybody knows what it's all about. If it's not you or somebody you do know somebody that had it or has that issue or deals with it. So it's a great cause. We're happy they are part of the Boom and Freezer show. So check out their link. If you want to help out, again, they're looking for donations. They also look for volunteers, and they do a lot of cool things. So check out the website. That's Agape Sober Homes. Thank you.
Something I didn't think about 4.5 years ago is where I'd be now and the relationships I've built. And I owe a lot of that, or basically all of that, to Matchroom. They've put me in positions I never dreamed. And something I love about what I do is I'm always working to improve. But building those relationships, making friends all over the world is probably the most important thing. And I owe Matchroom a lot for that and always will. Yesterday, I got a phone call from two gentlemen that I've never met or spoke to in my life, Stephen Tucker and Joe Furtado. They are the founders of Hilltop Promotions, two very successful men with a vision that's going to take the billiard platform by storm. Based in Anderson, South Carolina. And their vision is to host one-on-one matches, putting serious money up in a venue built from the ground up. They've built this venue especially for this. They're going to take one-on-one players, let's say that played in the finals of the U.S. Open in the 90s, in the finals of a world championship in the early 2000s. They're well on their way to doing this. They've already got their first two players in their first major match. I'd say they're 4 to 6 months out realistically. This vision is to turn back the clock of time, turn back the hands of time. They're going to get old school players and then work their way up to the modern generation. They're coming out of pocket. These guys are successful. They are not looking to make money on this. So everything will be streamed at the highest quality at no charge to you. It's Hilltop Promotions. These guys are for real. Stephen Tucker, Joe Furtado. I can't wait.
I'm going to take a minute to talk about NM Billiards. NM Billiards is Nick Marino Billiards. And what Nick Marino does, his business is in Connecticut. I believe it's in Berlin or New Britain, his home base. But what this guy does for the pool community, he sells pool tables. He refurbishes them as well. And he also has some cues. But what NM Billiards is, it's a family business. He has his daughter and his son involved in it. But they move tables, they sell tables. So if you're in the East Coast, you want to send him a message. The link is in the bio. That's NM Billiards. And he's one of my good friends, Nick Marino. But what this guy does is he moves tables. If you need something to be done, if you have a table you want to get rid of, or if you have something you're looking for, give him a call, give him a shout out. He'll take care of you. That's NN Billiards. Check out the link.
Now back to the show.
All right, let's talk a little bit about bagels. What's your favorite bagel? I heard you like some bagels. Where's your
We
bagel? What's
switched
your
gears
favorite
here.
bagel?
What car are we driving? We went from Fargo to
got
bagels.
I got something about bagels here. I don't know what am I talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
here, Moritz?
yeah. Because some people in New York call me Bagel Boy because whenever I'm in New York, I eat a bagel for breakfast, and I love my. So they're called Middle Village Bagels. They're the best bagels in the world. Every day I go there. Then I have maybe usually I go for like 4 eggs on a pumpernickel bagel, healthy, and it's great. It's the I love bagels. What can I say? Just my favorite bagels.
Yeah, I like bagels. Erica just had a bagel with an egg on it. So yeah, that's awesome. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
no,
And whenever I have a bagel for breakfast, I feel like I'm gonna play amazing. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why it's on your paper.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what
I think
hap-
I got
what
some inside,
happens if
Johnny
his hair's out of
Francisco.
place? One of his hair's out of place.
We haven't
If your
seen that
hair's
yet.
out of place, has it ever been out of place?
I'm not. Usually, I make sure my outward appearance is good. I don't like to run around and looking. It's just I feel like that's also part of being a professional. Just you're supposed to look presentable. You never have to look perfect. I'm not
You're very
Arnold. I don't have.
particular. You're very
Yeah, but I
particular.
think it's exactly, and that's. I
What
mean,
about
I
the
always
chalk
put the chalk on.
marks?
Exactly. I was just
We
So
about
were
to
going to
say
ask about that. Let's talk about that a little bit.
that.
Yeah, so when I was just talking on Sky Sports, last week, and I said, because I have a lot of OCD in my home, I never can stop cleaning. I can never sit down. I'm always doing something. I said that I think your personal life is very similar. I think you're very strong. Maybe I'm incorrect because I don't know enough. You and I are good friends, but I don't know anything about your personal life. And so I think your personal life is quite structured. I think you sleep a certain way. I think you eat breakfast a certain way. I think you have things kind of set up the way you want them. Am I correct or incorrect there?
Yeah, you're pretty spot on. I'm really practical. I'm focused on making it as efficient as possible. That's a good thing to say, I think. So I don't mind like I'll have chicken and potatoes and salad as like for lunch for weeks because I just know it's good for myself. I don't care if it tastes that great as long as it's not bad. I'll eat it because it's practical. The same way for sleeping, for example. I always have my same sleeping routine. I have the same routine when I take showers. I have the same routine when I make my hair, when I clean my teeth. These are just things. I don't know if you spoke, like if you saw some of the videos about like um like some rich people, like really successful people, they only have the same outfit every day because it keeps their mind on the important things instead of focusing on what do I have to wear today. So I'm the same kind of way. I take my pillow everywhere. Wherever I go, I have the same pillow because I know that's
I do
my
too.
constant. That's like a thing. When I go to sleep, I know I have it. There's no variable here. It's safe. I know I like the pillow. I can sleep on it. So I have a sleeping mask, same way. When I put on the sleeping mask, I condition my body to fall asleep. Not because I just like to fall asleep quickly, that too, but I have to. It's my job to fall asleep a certain time, making sure I'm well rested when I have to play. And these are things, same thing with the chalk. It's just something that satisfies myself, satisfies my mind. If I put it on the diamond, so I used to have this kind of thing. I could never put the chalk on the same diamond as I'm on the same rail as I'm shooting from because that's bad luck. So
Have you
Right.
now I
beat
put it
that
on the
though?
diamond.
Yeah, but
No, now I
it's
just
on
put
the
it on
same rail.
the
You just
on.
put it on the diamond. How long you been doing that? Putting it on the diamond?
I started at the PLP.
There you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I started doing it, and then funnily enough, I read about it because I just wanted to know if that's something usable. It just satisfied me. I just like things like that. I don't know. It's like same with my hair. I just like when it's in the middle. Like it's just something about me. I can't explain it.
Yep.
So
And
now,
for those of you guys who don't know, I mean, obviously most people watching our show do our pool, but if you go, especially Mosconi, you can see every time Moritz shot, he took his chalk and he just moved it and put it right on the spot, and you couldn't see the spot from the overhead camera or the diamond. So that's what we're talking about. And for whatever it is, it seems to be working. And I like it. I like the thought process of what you're saying. You feel comfortable. That's what you want to do. So you're going to keep doing it, right?
exactly, and also psychologically, there are many things connected to it where like I'm used to conditioning myself and my body, and it's the same kind of thing. So many people in the comments actually also said, like under all these posts, many people talked about it on Facebook, and some people also said it's like a transitioning thing to going from one thought process to the other, which is like an act of transitioning, um like it's a mechanism. So whenever I
Yes.
put the chalk on the diamond, it switches from thought process A to thought process B. And that's what I meant before when I was talking about how I feel on the table and off the table. This is something that helps me to stay in the same kind of mentality all the time, no matter if I feel good or bad. Right now I feel like if somebody crashed into my car, I have no car at home, and then I go to the pool room, I'll still play well because I just conditioned myself to think a certain way all the time. That's
Nothing's
where these
stopping you.
routines come into play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why,
I
for example, yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just
Finish.
about to say, with many players, you see, they will play great one day, but they will play terribly the next day. And this is one of the reasons because they haven't conditioned themselves to a point where no matter what happens outside of the table, they can still do the same thing like inside the table. But I don't know if that's the same, like the correct way of saying it, but
It
I guess you
is.
know what I
On
mean.
the tables
It is.
inside. Yeah, yeah.
Like
So
yeah,
so
like
so Moritz, I went through when I was in my prime. I had the cue. I'm left eye dominant, but the only few times that it happened, anytime the cue, I would walk or approach the table. I always had the cue on the left side of my body. Right. Anytime I was playing my best pool, the cue was on the left side of my body. That way, when I brought the cue in, my dominant eye picked it up first. Right brain, left brain. I don't want to go into all of that, but that's something I also teach people. On top of that, with the chalk, my chalk was never on the right side of the table when I was down on the ball because my right eye, which is not my dominant eye, would pick it up. Now, I don't know if you think I'm crazy or not, but there's something to that with left eye, right eye being dominant because your wires can get crossed. So it's very similar to you. I was very specific to that. When I did recognize I wasn't playing well, I would have the cue in the right hand from time to time. And it just felt like something wasn't right up there. So to your
mhm.
point, I think most of the elite players have something that they don't talk about like that.
Well, mine's just visible, right? Mine's
Sure.
easy to
Yeah,
pick
yours
up.
comes out, people see it.
But there are so many things, and I think many players have different routines, but they have similar behaving patterns. The way they behave, something about us, like strongly competitive people, is the same. We must be wired the same way somehow because we used to, or like we tend to have the same kind of mechanisms. Like Nadal, he had the tick where he had to turn his label from the bottle away from him, or some things like that. Or
Yep.
when he
Yep.
like served, he always touched both his ears and then the nose and the shirt. And these are just things that you develop under loads of pressure to cope with the pressure. And I think these are things that just get you to a point where nothing else matters. You're just in the flow state.
Very well
Well,
said.
Yeah.
and many people believe it's luck to get into flow state, and it's something that only few people can do, and they can only do at certain times. I strongly believe that if you condition yourself the right way, you can always achieve the flow state to a certain degree. Sometimes you'll just be totally gone, and sometimes you'll only be in a like lighter flow state. But I think
And
overall,
limit it, trying
that's
to
what
limit it smaller.
exactly. So the
Yeah.
range of flow state will always like it will be there. You'll be maybe here or maybe here, but you will be in a state of absolute concentration.
And you'll get to know your body, and you might think I'm crazy here. I know you won't actually, but you'll get to it's so good at that you'll wake up knowing. You will actually wake up knowing that you're in that flow state. Maybe not to the
Yeah.
top level yet because you've got to get into it, but you're going to wake up because people used to say how good I used to play. Well, how do you play so good? I said I wake up playing good, right? Because it's your patterns, it's your mechanisms, it's things that you
Mhm.
do. Here in the States, we call it your little quirks, like the little things that work for you.
Yeah, or
But
ticks.
that's
Yep.
actually some pretty deep stuff that you can get into on that side, and it's all mental. It's all mental.
Yep.
That's where the business sense comes in.
Hmm.
I love the fact that you're just talking about like the chalk. You brought it up originally because, like you said, he gets in that mindset. It also can kind of work from shot to shot because as they're level, you got to make sure you're not thinking about a previous shot, previous game, previous anything. So what you're saying is you mentally focus. Boom! Once the chalk's down there, you know it's going time. Now you're not thinking of anything else. The same motion, repetitive motion, back after back. Amazing, amazing stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Also, like picking up something you just said, like the transitioning. Ronnie O'Sullivan's coach said something about you have like three different ways of thinking. You have like the first level, second level, third level. One is conscious, subconscious. Then you have the monkey in between trying to disturb you. And I think with these mental routines, also what you said, Scott, with these mental routines, you're trying to transition from conscious to subconscious. The more things you do subconsciously, the less energy you waste on things you have to think about. The only things I want to think about when I'm at the table are the actual um, decisions I'm trying to make strategically. Which way am I playing position? Why am I doing something? How can I play safety? How do I play position? I'm not trying to think of how do I move my arm forward now? How do I
Yeah,
stand in a
right.
certain way?
There's too much
How do
technique to
I
get into a one shot, especially with a shot clock.
Well, that's
exactly? So
already
you're just
that's already part of his makeup now, so that he
Yeah,
shouldn't be thinking of that.
right.
exactly, but that's what I'm saying. You have to get to a point where this is subconscious. You just do it
Yep,
because you know it's right. So the more things you can get into your subconscious thinking and your subconscious mind, the better you will perform over a long period of time. Period. That's how it goes. But the transition from conscious to subconscious takes hours at a time. It takes a long time to practice, then to think about things and to maybe only put certain things into the subconscious because you also don't want to make any decisions based on your subconscious thinking that might be wrong,
right.
if that
And
makes sense.
as a teacher, I think that's something that can be preached and not something that can be teached. I think you can talk about it, you can tell people about it, but you cannot teach that. You have to find it yourself.
Mhm. Also ways of doing it. There are many different ways of approaching
Yes.
how to how you might know. I don't know how deep you went into like psychological teaching strategies and how to explain things and how people learn
Process,
because yeah,
process.
yeah, like
It's
how
Yeah,
about
yeah, how
process.
people process things.
Daily
Exactly.
process. Driving down the road. I try
yeah,
to tell people driving down the road, you're going through a process mentally. You're sitting at home, you're in bed. Everything is a process. And that process
Hmm.
obviously carries you into that state that you're talking about that is natural and subconscious on the table. It's very
Hmm.
deep. Like you could get real deep into it. I just don't want to lose the people.
Yeah,
That's my
I like
concern.
that kind of stuff though. Maybe in private
I
we
do
can talk
too.
more about this
I love it.
because I
I love it.
really I find it really fascinating because it all connects. Like
It
sleep
does.
is a big thing about your mental health too. Many people don't realize if you don't sleep enough, you'll wake up feeling tired or you get frustrated easier. Your regeneration physically is worse. Like so many things that just clog into each other like cogwheels. You need to, as a professional, in my opinion, you need to dial down every single component about you being a professional. It's sleep, it's nutrition, it's practice, it's regeneration, it's working out. So many things. That's why Fedor probably next to Niels, they might be the best two professionals overall because I feel like they're trying to limit the distractions. Niels is really, really, really good, as you know, mentally. He
Yes, he
has his
is.
own mental coaching, and he
oh,
also
one of
is
the greatest.
very
Yeah,
fit.
everything he has out there is fabulous.
Physically, he's in
Yep,
fantastic shape too. I
yep.
see him all the time riding his bike, working out, and he makes sure he just
He's always
gives
happy too.
himself the best
He's always
chance.
happy.
Yeah, that's why, because he learned how to think in a positive manner. He learned how to keep him physically in shape to where he has no choice but to be in a good mood. He doesn't have to be in a great mood like he just won the lottery, but
Yeah,
you'll never find him crying in the corner eating ice cream and
no.
cheesecake because he feels terrible.
I interviewed him when he's winning and when he's losing, and it's close. Like he's really, obviously he hurts the losses, but he's at that he has that mind space where he's going to be happy. I like that. That bringing Niels up, and it's one of your guys, right? I'm sure you looked up to him as a kid, right?
Of
Being from
course,
your
he
country,
was. Well, he's not from my country. He's from the
Yeah,
Netherlands.
it's
Netherlands,
Netherlands.
But
but
yeah, he was always, yeah, he was always one of the few people I looked up because of his professionalism.
Yeah,
The
I
way
grew up
he's a
around him.
professional. Yeah. Well, you might know him better than me.
I know him quite well.
Probably.
Good
Yeah.
friend. He's actually a very good friend. But
Mm.
no, Niels used to be known, and he'll admit this. He had a real hot temper, right? When he was young and coming up. Like he actually stood out to a lot of us when he didn't get what he wanted on the table. That's because he wanted it so bad. And a lot of
yep.
young players back then were like that. And the evolving Niels fan was something special to see because when he wasn't winning, you kind of knew it. But really, I think he made his transitions around 24, 25, 26 years old, mentally, and really just what an athlete he is. Just a spectacular athlete, spectacular
Hmm.
person, and very intelligent, very intelligent.
Hmm.
So I want to talk about him now. There's already rumors about him, and of course, Jesus starting to play for America next year. How would it be if, or not Niels? I'm talking about Thorsten. I apologize. How would you feel about Thorsten and Jesus being on America Mosconi? How do you feel? Do you feel anything about that, or do you guys talk about that at all?
Tough to say. I think on one hand, it might bring new life into the Mosconi Cup, even though this year it seemed like it was like a blowout. Could have gone 7-7, 6-6.
Yeah,
So it
that's been
wasn't like
every year
a.
though. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
last year as well.
but to be fair, yeah, but to be fair, like, yeah, it's always the same. This year, I don't think we got that many roles. I just think they made crucial mistakes where they shouldn't. That's the biggest
Last year as
difference. The
well.
last years, yeah, last year, same. I think 2 years ago, it was fair to say, okay, the US didn't really get many roles, and then they didn't play great on top of it. But
Agreed.
now I think with maybe Jesus coming in play or Torsten, or who knows, I think they also included Canada in it. So maybe I don't know, we'll see Mora or
Like
Pegula
Zamora,
in
yeah.
play. I think that could help the team. The question is, though, how good is the chemistry going to be?
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing. Many people underestimate how big the chemistry is. The chemistry, I think, in my mind, is probably more important than all the players itself. Because I think,
Not
as
even
you've seen,
close. Not
yeah,
even
I
close.
think,
It's 10
You,
times more important in
you can
team
see
events.
my partner is squirming over there. He's ready to go. Go ahead, Scott. Let's talk about that a little
I
bit.
don't really want to, I mean, because it's such a big thing, it's such a big monkey in the room, right? Like there's things going on behind the scenes that I'm involved in and talking about. It was a very tough week for me, not because you guys won. And this is something that's been overlooked for many years with the Mosconi Cup. You're going to get me to do this. But Europeans are different than Americans. Okay, I don't care if we have elite American players. European elite players are completely different than Americans, and that's okay. That's okay. Europeans have always had the ability to gel as a family much quicker than Americans, and there's a big reason for that that I'll talk about. But there's a lot of underlying issues with each individual that are on the American team. We all have underlying issues, but those issues on the American team need addressed because they can't bond like European players can. It's just a fact, and this is what's happened. So I think that the underlying issues and becoming a brotherhood really haven't been touched on enough. And one reason, I'll just give one of probably about 10 that I have. And this isn't something I just thought about last week. It's something I've thought about for the last several years, and I make notes, and I'm kind of a sicko with this. The main reason is that the American players came up gambling a little bit more. In the States, money matches were more prevalent. Now, when you play a tournament, whether it's a big tournament or a small tournament, you can shake the guy's hand because there's so much luck involved in a tournament. We all know that we're never going to win every match. And it's pretty easy to forgive the other guy and go on. I know might not be saying everything the same right way. But in money matches in the States, when I was coming up, I thought it was a great thing, but I made a lot of money doing it. In money matches, you tend to want to despise the other person, and it starts to build egos. It starts to build animosity towards the other guy. And I don't care what anybody says. I know over time that that animosity will grow because somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. So that's okay. That's healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. But if those things aren't addressed behind the scenes at the ultimate level before anybody even hits a ball, and what I mean by that, and I'll just freaking say it, is if I'm the captain and I don't have all five of my guys in a room. And we sit in that room for 12 hours, as long as it takes. And I want each one of those guys to tell the other one what they don't like about each other and what they do like, where they came from, who their parents are, how tough it was to get to America if you're Federer, how tough it was for Shane to grow up when he was bullied. And I want them to know every little thing about each other, because before we leave that room, if we don't, they're not going to respect one another. Europe is different. Okay. And those things need addressed first before you can truly trust one another. Like he just said, it doesn't matter how good you play. And he said that in a sense. It doesn't
Did.
matter how
He
great
did.
a player you are. It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. In this format, in a race to five format, that format actually favors America, because we're not the favorites on paper. But in a race to five, we're going to get the looks. In this format, we're going to get the looks. So there's a lot of underlying things that need addressed. Of course, preparation is everything. But prior to that, in team and sporting events, and I can promise you, on professional teams, professional football, basketball, baseball, soccer, on the teams that are losing throughout the season, this stuff happens behind the scenes. Okay, there's real shit that happens behind the scenes, and these guys really have to truly care about each other. You can see it immediately with Europe every single year, and you can't
Yep.
see it with America. And if you
Yep.
don't see what I'm talking about, then you're blind.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what Morris was talking about, right? You even said with Morris, with Mora or Alex, how will they gel? That's exactly what you were talking about.
They have to respect
Yeah,
one another.
yeah, and it's I'm I'm not saying as players they obviously they're good enough. That's not the issue, and I think overall the team USA is much better than they've shown over the last couple of years. But it's more so, how well will their bond? Like how strong of a bond can they build? Because now I can only speak from experience from the Reyes Cup and Team Rest of the World, and it's kind of similar. I feel like it's going to be similar.
Yeah. The
With us, it
Philippines
was
are like this,
difficult.
right? They're hard to break. They're like a
Well, it's
Yeah,
family.
well,
Asia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Asia had one
Yeah.
advantage. Not everybody could speak to another, so they couldn't even say what they like or dislike, and they just played. So that really came down to how good of a player they were. While with us, Team Rest of the World, we could obviously talk. Then we tried to bond. It was me, Jason, Fran, and then you had Sky and Fedor from US, which is it wasn't easy to bond because at the end of
No.
the day, 4 weeks later, 5 weeks later, we're gonna be enemies. So
Right.
how are you supposed to bond and then lose the bond again? It's not the same. While with the Mosconi team now, you are Team Europe. You fought all year to be here. Now it's time to just glue together and forget about whatever happened in the past. And what Scott said is true. Like money matches, they take away every money match you play and you lose, it takes away something from your personality because it always hurts. It hurts in a different way. You can never
Yeah.
say, "Oh yeah, we played in the tournament and he won." No, it's something personal. You are taking my money. That's different. That's different.
It
You're
is.
taking something from me. You're taking my honor and you're taking my
Yep.
pride to some extent because now you beat me. I can never say we didn't play for anything. We played for amount of money we agreed on and we both thought we're going to win.
Yeah.
And
It's
this is something that's totally different psychologically from playing tournaments.
agreed. And everything I said, you said agreed. And listen, all I'm talking about is I think the right person. And I'm not talking about myself. I know there's somebody else out there. I think the right person, though, you have to have. You just touched on it. You have to have the time. I don't think it. I don't think 3 weeks. I don't think 2 weeks. You have to have the time to address some of the maybe there's cliques within teams, there's cliques, there's friends, there's a guy that works real hard on the outside, there's another guy that just kind of goes along with everything. You got to gel these personalities together, and that takes the right person to do it, that they're not going to walk over. It also takes their respect and their time, and it would take a lot of work off the table. I think that preparation needs to happen, because I think the key balls that were missed this year weren't really due to play. It was really due to some other distractions going on behind the scenes,
Yep.
and some other things that are
All
going
right.
on.
I agree. I agree, Scott. And we're going to get you on that captain, right?
No, no, no. I'm not saying that. I mean,
I
we're not
am.
getting on
I
that.
am.
I'm not doing that for that. And I
No,
want to
I
be
know
clear.
that. I know
But I'm
that.
not doing it for the money, and I'm not doing it for that. And I'm in touch with people, but there's other people out there. Listen, what I want, to be clear, what I want is to not be on the microphone and be embarrassed. What I want is for this event to be competitive. I know they want this event to be competitive. I talked to Jason Shaw in depth, right? I know they want it to be competitive. They
Of
don't want
course.
to lose, and they love winning 11-3. But for the fans and for our country, this event needs, and for Matchroom and for the Mosconi Cup, this event needs to be competitive. And in order to do that, a lot of things kind of need to change. And that's what I was talking about when I'm commentating. Is a lot of changes need to happen. I don't
Hmm.
think so. You know, and that's what it is.
Good stuff, both of you guys. That was fabulous. Let's talk a little bit about first Moritz. I don't know if you know, Moritz came down the East Coast because he's friends with Johnny Francisco, right? He's
Oh, yeah.
Curia. He kind of got, so when he's down here, this is what he won, Scott, in like I would say less than a year, right? He won the Ocean State. He won 2 Josh tournaments, Cooley's, the PLP. He won the Rex. You know what I mean? He just won everything here. Was unbelievable. Tell us about your experience in the East Coast. Like it seems like everything you played, you won, right?
Well, that's what it seems like. Obviously, I didn't win any of the US Opens yet, and I didn't win Florida. But yeah, I just in the US, for me personally, it's always a little bit different because I know so many people by now. And something about it, like as we've covered before, I just feel comfortable. For me, English is okay. I can speak English well enough to get
Very
along.
good.
You're
Are
very
kidding
good.
me? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Fluent,
Appreciate
very
it.
fluent. Very fluent.
So I don't have to worry. It doesn't feel like I'm in a country where I can't talk. I can communicate to people. I can talk to them. So I know my way around. I know how it works. I feel confident. I feel confident just being there in general. So then it's easier to play. While in Asia, for example, it's different depending on the country where you are. Some people don't speak English, like in Vietnam. Yeah, you might get lucky. While in China, no English, no English. Nobody really speaks English. So it's a different kind of traveling. That's why I like the US overall. Then obviously New York is like my second home now. I spend loads of time there, which I really love New York, and I love the the way American people are. They're much different than Europeans, but they're
Yes.
like, just cool. Also, I don't I like Americans,
Sure.
like the ones that I met so far. So that's why I feel like I play good in the US all the time. I know how to get good food. I know how to prepare myself for different things that might happen in the US. Like sometimes you go to a city and it feels like nothing is around. So then you need a car or you need to know how to
Don't
get
know what to
around with
expect.
Ubers.
You don't know what to
Yeah,
expect. Yeah.
exactly. But now I know that sometimes I just don't know what to expect and I can prepare myself mentally differently. While in Asia, it's difficult to find out how to get from A to B. It's difficult to find good places to eat
Yeah.
because it just works different. You might use different apps. You might use different ways of transportation. As you know, in Vietnam, you use the scooters, which is scary for the first time, hopping on the back of someone else's scooter and
Right.
then driving somewhere. But it's normal. And then after a while, you get used to it and all of it. Like each country has its benefits and its downsides, and so has the US. And I just like the US. That's all
And
I
you
can
fit
say.
in. You fit in the United States, Bobby. I kind of wanted to circle back to your initial question, which was the Mosconi Cup. But that being said, I wanted to touch on the Hanoi Open. Right, that was my first year at the Hanoi Open. Obviously, you made the finals, and I'm sure Bobby was probably going to touch on this, but I'm just kind of redirecting it. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
this is a perfect example, and Aloysius Yap, when we had him on, I suggest everybody watch that episode. It was, I think,
Yeah.
pretty comparable to this, but this is really good stuff. Um, to me, it just looked like you were, and I know how this works, but if you just looked at you every single match, it looked like you were just a lock to win the tournament. I've said it multiple times. I don't think anybody played better over the span of that week than you, more consistent than you. I watched you very closely. Obviously, I don't think you would have wrote it any better way if you're going to lose to Pius Labutus, right? Where he had some matches where I felt like at the Mosconi Cup as well, and I think he'd be the first to admit some matches were patchy, some decisions were patchy, but I get it at the Mosconi Cup. But he had some of those matches throughout the Hanoi Open. But I'll tell you what, he really kicked it on in the finals there, right? He really kicked it on. You didn't have a lot of freaking opportunities. I mean, I was covering that match. You
Mhm.
want to touch on the Hanoi Open a little bit?
Yeah. um Overall, great tournament. I love to be in Vietnam. Vietnamese people, are very different to European people and American people, like Western people in general. So it took some time to get used to it, but I enjoyed the Paris Open. I enjoyed the Hanoi Open. First match, actually, I remember that might have been the best match I played ever. That was unbelievable. I won 9-0, and the guy, I think he couldn't see a ball once. I got him stuck to balls like three times, and it was unbelievable. And the tables were really tight, so I start the whole tournament off with a pretty much perfect set. So I was like, man, this is good. I like this.
Good start.
It's unbelievable there, by the way. People don't realize how hot that room is, and probably never will
uh,
realize how hot that room is with the tight pockets. Unbelievable to play that good on that equipment. Go ahead.
I was just about to touch on that. So then when the days went on, it felt like it was getting warmer and warmer. So I'm like, why is it so hot? And I was prepared. Hanoi was always hot. So I took a wet towel, and I don't know if you've seen me in the final.
I did.
I had in the end I had like a
Glad
big
you-
towel. It was just soaking wet, and I put it around my head. I played the last 64 against my one of my very good friends, also from the tour, Frank the Tank, Francesco Candela, and I was this close to passing out. I'm not kidding. I stood up once. I stood up too quickly. I was like, "Ooh, I might just knock out." It was so hot. My metabolism was fighting. I had the craziest headaches ever, also in the finals. That's why I had to take like painkillers, because I just had the worst headache ever because it was so hot. And I was surprised how well I played overall. I was really happy with the way I played, and I think that's just some sort of mental resilience I built, also with my routines, and then conditioning myself to where I just played pretty well regarding the circumstances. And in the finals, it's really tough to play a friend first of all, and then it's really tough
Absolutely.
to play with someone that is like, this is a life-changing event for them. I had the life-changing event the week before, and maybe
That's
subconsciously
true.
I think my body language was different than before. And realistically, I think I could have played better, and if I played better I might have won. He played very well, and I was happy for him to see him play so well in the final. I saw some of his matches before, and
That's it.
I think he played better before, like
Yeah.
in other tournaments than the
Yeah, absolutely.
Hanoi
Yeah, a
Open.
little patchy.
But the final was really good, and that's what it comes down to. It was the same for me in the PLP. You don't need to play the best pool all the time. You just need to play it when it's important. And that's what you saw with Robbie and Chua. They played unbelievable the whole
The
week.
whole
And
time
when
at
it was
PLP.
important,
Yeah.
yeah, when it came down to it, they just made mistakes all of a sudden. While me and Fran, we kind of picked up our pace as we got along. And that's how we ended up in the final. And I played pretty well in the final too. So those are the differences, I guess, in timing. Timing is really important in pool. Sometimes you can play terrible and still win if it's against a weaker player, and sometimes you need to play unbelievable to beat someone because they happen to play extremely well too. So timing is, interestingly enough, a very big factor. And I was happy, even though I lost. You could still see the disappointment, but I was so happy and stoked for Piers that after all this hard work he put in, he also got rewarded with the Mosconi Cup. And that's why we had a blast at the Mosconi. We just walked around, and so many times we just said, "This is so cool to be here with you." And that's how it was.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to touch base too. Not only the Hanoi, so the week before you're playing great. You played the Perry Open, great tournament.
Yeah.
You feel you played good that whole tournament? I mean, you played and you carried it into obviously Hanoi, but the Perry Open, winning that thing, was that so real, or you just played so good every match you felt comfortable?
Really interesting. The first match in the tournament, I played against some Chinese guy, I think he was. And I rewatched the match, and I still to this day can't believe how I could lose after playing so well. I snookered him every match, every single frame. I got him glued to the balls, and I came back to the table to the worst positions ever. And after the match, I lost. I sent a voice message to my coach. I was like, I don't want to play anymore. This game is crazy. I can't take it. I don't understand. But then he made me fight through it, and after that, I played very well in every single match. I think I had one a little bit weaker match against Harry Vergara in the last 64. and then I made a crazy jump combo across the whole table and ran out. And I think that was the last shot he played like before. And then I played really well all over. Maybe the semifinal was a little bit patchy with Copenhagen, but overall the level was really high, and I was really happy with the way I played and with the way I felt. Also, it was really tough to stay in the moment mentally because I knew if I was to win the Perry Open, my chances of Mosconi Cup are right
Yeah,
there. Then
absolutely.
chance that Reyes Cup potentially are right there. Then it was also like loads of prize money. So it was a big thing for me. This is like a career changing event. So when I missed the six against Copenhagen and I went in two reels, I was like, I can't believe I just docked my opportunity. And then I saw the six and I was like, oh my God, I guess I didn't dog it.
Yeah, you had new
So that
life.
was
That's
yeah,
how
that
it works
was I
sometimes,
was
right?
I was brought back to life for sure. So that was really cool. And then my friend Boris, who I traveled with all over Asia, he came up to me after I won the final. He said, now celebrate, like be happy. And I just couldn't realize that I actually won. And I asked him how much prize money I won because I didn't care. I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
I didn't know at all how much prize money that
Scott and I
was.
talked about that. We pros a lot of time when you guys are playing your best, you don't care who you're playing and you don't care what the prize money's for. It's about winning, right?
Yeah, the
Exactly.
money
It's
will
just
come. The money will come.
that's something we can touch on after about life in general. But yeah, it was unbelievable. So I won. I went up to him. I asked him how much money did I win. He said 40,000. I was like, no way! Like I was so happy. So that was really cool, and we just had it. I had a good time, and I think that's what it came down to the last couple weeks. I tried to enjoy myself. I tried to take it serious and give it my all, but also like really give it my all. If I lost, even in the finals, there was nothing I could regret. Nothing. I know I gave 110%. And no matter if I won or lost, I could be proud of myself for just giving everything that I have. And if it's not enough, no problem. Then it's not enough. I'll just practice, work harder to make sure it doesn't happen as many times again.
David Alcady's big on that. He's messaged that all the time. I always hear him say that. You know, you give your best, you give your all, and that's all you can do. Like you said, if you feel that you need work, you work on it, but that's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way to stay happy with yourself and to stay in a good relationship with yourself, like personally, because it's easy to go hard on yourself and to be like, why did you lose? Why did you miss this ball? Especially being so competitive, it's very easy to get off track and say this was bad and I'm doing so bad and just get upset with yourself. While realistically, if you try your best, then what is there to complain about? It's okay. Everybody misses. As long as I feel like I made the right decisions at all times, that's all I care about. Everybody can hit a bad shot. Everybody could have a day off. Everybody can be sick. Those are things out of your control. As long as you do everything in your power to give 100% and have no excuses, then that's okay.
It
Losing
is
doesn't
okay.
hurt as bad also.
Yeah, and if it's not good enough, it's still okay. Because if you can look yourself in the mirror and know that you put in everything you could, then it's just fine. And then you start putting yourself in positions to win. And if you don't win, it's okay. But if you're putting yourself in those positions to win, that's really all you can ever ask for, right? You might never
Absolutely.
win an event. You might never win an event. But if you put yourself in those positions,
Yeah. I
sooner
mean,
or later, it's going to happen.
Efren
I
and
absolutely agree.
Efren and Earl came in a lot of second place in the finals. You know, they put themselves there. They may be two of the greatest of all time, but they come in second a lot. It happens, you know.
Yeah.
All right, you
And
ready
there's
for the
nothing to
tough
be sad
questions?
about.
What's that?
Go ahead. I said there's
I thought
nothing to
we were
be sad
gonna.
about.
Yeah, let's finish up a little bit, Bobby. I was trying to like transition to where you started off with the Mosconi Cup. I really wanted to hear more from him about like how that went and some of his tougher matches, and uh, just give us a little bit about the Mosconi Cup for you in general for your first time in the MVP
Mhm.
appearance.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say the MVP. I feel very honored to be the MVP, and I think I played pretty well, especially being a rookie. Realistically speaking, though, I think it was only due to Tyler missing the nine ball that I somehow became MVP, and I still to this day believe that Joshua was probably the better player in the Mosconi Cup, and it doesn't hurt me to say I think he played unbelievable. I played really well too until the last match in the doubles when I just decided to scratch on a straight and three ball. Um,
Did that ball skid a little bit with the inside?
nah,
Do you think it held, or
no,
did it just turn? Did you just hit it head on?
I just hit it bad. But I wasn't feeling well. Also, I think I had a fever that match, and I
Yeah,
told Josh like I just don't feel well. But I still, that's the good thing. Like we are two Germans, we've known each other for a long time. So I just told him, listen, I'll try my best. I can't guarantee for nothing. And he was like, listen, you play great, don't worry. And we just got through it. That's the chemistry speaking. But I think the most exciting match for me was my singles for sure. I sat in the chair and I realized, okay, this is just now me and the table. And I played really well. I think I played good. I'm
Close to
happy with the
perfect,
way I
I think, a
played.
singles match. I don't think you made a mistake.
I think I well, I think I didn't make a jump. Yeah, hill. I snooker myself after playing the bank, which also, funnily enough, this is funny. Um, I didn't want to play the bank at hill on the two ball because I felt like it was difficult to make anyways, and then getting position was really just based on luck. So I felt like I should play safe, and then I thought Jason said, "Just bank it, don't worry." And it must have been someone in the crowd, I guess, because they didn't say anything. So I was like, okay, I guess the team wants me to bank it, so I'll just do it. And I banked a two ball, I land bad. And after the match, I talked to them, I say, but why did you guys say I should play the bank? I never wanted to play the bank. And they're like, we didn't say anything. And I was like, oh my God, I really went with the
Uh,
crowd. That was so bad.
That's funny.
But
Uh,
yeah, it's
it
really,
must have
but
been a
those are
Scottish
things,
fan. It must have been a Scottish fan.
yeah, it was super funny. And we all laughed about it. And I just enjoy, I also the match with Pierce was really cool to play with him and the doubles, and it was a lot of fun. And what it came down to was just smart playing. I think I made good decisions overall, playing the right shots. And that's what it comes down to. As I said, as long as I feel like I made the right decisions, that's all I care about. I can always, under loads of pressure, you can always mishit a ball or just not play well. But as long as you mentally stay there and just try to play the percentages at all times, that's all you could do. And I'm happy with that. And that's why I think I just enjoyed the Mosconi Cup. I tried to play the best shots statistically, and so the statistics played out.
Yeah,
good stuff.
fantastic. Great playing. And then, did you know when they pulled you everybody out after the Mosconi Cup that you won MVP, or when they called it, is that when you knew?
No, they told me before. We spoke about it before, the day before, because I think I don't know if Josh mentioned it or somebody mentioned it, and they said, "Yeah, you're on route to become MVP." And I was like, how is that possible? Like before I told my coach, I think it's impossible for a rookie to be MVP right now because of the way they could put the matches, and if it's more singles, like
Right?
Joshua
You
was
usually
on
don't
route
play
to
as
be
many
MVP.
matches and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was sure it was going to be Josh or Jay. And when they said so, I was like, well, okay, but whatever, I'm happy for Josh also. And he played great. So we just went into the last day. I knew if we win 3-0 the last day, I'm MVP. And if not, then so be it. I was just happy to be there. And I was happy with the way I played. And that's all I cared about. MVP, I think, is a nice tribute to like playing well overall and winning many points for the team. Also, I found it quite nice that they mentioned Mika Immonen and made it the Mika
Yes,
Immonen trophy, which I found really nice as like a kind of like a to show
tribute.
respect
Yeah,
and honor him. Yeah, tribute. So that was really nice. But it doesn't, surprisingly, it doesn't mean as much to me as just playing well. Just playing well in the Mosconi means much more to me. If next year I don't get MVP, but I play great, then that's all I care about. I just want to play good.
Yeah, that makes
absolutely,
sense. So you got to
and a
sum
team
up.
event.
You got to sum up your Mosconi experience. How do you sum it up? And so one of your best friends that doesn't play pool that much comes and said, "How was your trip? How did Mosconi Cup go?" How do you explain that to him?
Overall, it was fantastic. It was a roller coaster of emotions, and I'm super excited about how I kept composure under pressure. Because I expected the pressure to be like sky high, unbelievable pressure. But I started to realize nobody else could put as much pressure on myself as I, like as
That's
me
right.
myself. Nobody. Like there could be 10,000 people screaming in my ear, and I'd still feel like as long as I can be happy with the way I played, I don't care what they say. It's up
That's
to
right.
me to judge. and it's up to my coach to judge, and maybe a few other chosen ones that I trust and that I value as players, where I would take credit from or take critic from.
Next year, you're going to have your hands full because that man's going to be captain, and you guys are going to be in big trouble, because he's going to get those guys in shape, and so you guys better practice and keep on going. That's what I'm thinking, Scott. What do you think?
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's a long way from that. I really don't even want to talk about it. That's why you haven't seen it. You haven't seen anything on my socials or anything. It's a long ways away, but preparation needs to start sooner than later. These guys have so many events to choose from going forward, and it's going to be a fun season. And I personally wanted to thank you, Moritz, for coming on the show. I look forward to seeing, I'm a fan of yours. You and I've been friends for quite a while, and I look forward to seeing what you do. No pressure, no pressure, but I look forward to seeing what you do, because I said it on air that I think you're a top three player in the world right now. Tournament player, I think you're top three player in the world right now. Just the way you're playing.
Yeah, no, you get. How can you argue with all the stuff that he's won in the last, couple months? Never mind his last 2 years. Just unbelievable. But all right, before we get his head too big, I got to ask some tough questions. You ready for the tough
Oh boy.
Go
questions?
ahead.
You
I'm
ready
not
for the
sure,
tough
but we'll
questions?
see.
All right. A young career, two-time junior champion, PLP, Perry Open, Mosconi Cup MVP. Your best tournament experience, your best tournament win. What's your most meaningful tournament that you won so far in your career? Whether it
Outside
be,
of the Mosconi Cup, because that's
Yeah,
not
well,
really fair.
yeah,
yeah, the Mosconi Cup doesn't count. I would say probably the one in Jason's pool room, because that's the first time I could prove to myself
Coolies
and
or the
everyone else.
Coolies, the
The
Coolies.
Coolies one, yeah, yeah. Because I could prove to myself and to everyone else that I can do it. And I beat everybody in the tournament. I played unbelievable. I played really well. And
Yes, you did. I remember that event. I watched it from home, and you played amazing.
yeah,
I
I was
was
yeah,
like,
there.
I
"Who the
played
hell is
really
as
this
well.
well.
kid?"
So that's definitely the most meaningful, because that's the first time I believed in myself like never before, because I just knew, okay, now they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you felt it. All right,
Yeah.
your toughest defeat, your toughest loss that really made you contemplate career, everything. Your toughest loss.
I think the one that taught me the biggest lesson, maybe, which is equal to maybe the toughest one, because those are the ones we remember the most, was a
Yep.
week before I won the Culees one. I was up 12 to 7, 12-6, I think, against Beato. And I had 8 and 9 on the table. I missed the 8 ball. Then I missed a 9 ball for the win. And I end up losing 13-12. The
What
week
event
before
was
I
Wow.
that?
won my first. That was the Rex Open, or
Rex. That was in. I was
Rex,
there as
yeah.
well. Yeah, that was in
Yeah.
Jersey.
And
Yep.
that was really tough. I woke up a couple weeks after, like the next 10 days maybe. I woke up every night and I dreamed I made the 8 ball, and then I woke up and I lost, and I'm like, no way,
Go
again.
back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sign of
like
a
it
champion,
was
though.
really.
You come back, and a lot of people that would take quite a while to heal. You come back and win that tournament at Jason's room in such great style.
We're not going to keep you too much longer. I know you're busy. You got to get back to your sleep and your practice. I know your mask is waiting for you, right? All right. So I was talking to John the other day, and we were just talking about you. He said when you were 17, or 16, 17, 18, your first trip to New York, you came down there and you were going to decide, do I want to play pool or do I want to go to college? Talk a bit about that, about how you made that decision and when you made that decision.
Yeah, really.
Do you
This
remember
is
that? Do you
really.
remember that trip?
Yeah, this is a really nice
Shout out
story,
John
actually.
Francisco, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
100%,
shout
my
out to
boy.
him. My
Good
American
dude.
dad, I always say. He's so we met when I was 16, I think. We met at the US Open. I think I was 16. Yeah, I think I was 16. We met. He said, "Hey, if you ever want to come back to the US, just let me know. I have a spare room." So I was like, "Sure, okay." And at that time, I didn't know that usually it's like an American way. I don't know if you guys noticed, but many American people are really friendly in the beginning, because they are. That's how they are. But few people actually come back to it, because under, like, I feel like Americans talking to Americans, it's just an unwritten rule. if you don't know a person that well, you'd never come back to it. But I'm a European. I think if they offer it, they mean it. So I just say, "Hey, John, how are you doing? I'm planning to go on a US trip. Would you mind?" And he says, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And he was really nice right off the bat. And then we took off. We drove all the way to Michigan, Virginia, like everywhere. We drove all the time. And I remember I had my last $1,000 and I had a bill due for 800. So I had like $200 realistically. I paid for my flights, but that was it. And the first day we get to some
That's all you
tournament,
have to your name. That's it. That's
pretty much it might have been like 400, and I end up losing like 300 the first day. First tournament, I pay my entry fee, I get knocked out. I'm like, what's going on here? I played a 7 foot event against some random guy. He broke on round six. I'm like, what's going on here? What is this? I might be better off going to school. So then I talked to John and he's like, just wait, no worries. I'll make sure you go home with some money. I'll make sure. No need to worry. So I was like, okay. And then we go on and we go on. And then I started to gamble with people. I made a couple $100 and I was happy. And then something switched. And then I came in the third place, Sandcastle Billiards. I remember that. Sandcastle. I
At
come in
Ladawi.
third place
Eladowie. Yeah.
at Ladawi. I make maybe $2,000. And that's when the tables turned. And then I ended up going home with maybe, I don't actually remember, maybe 7,500, which some of it I had spent in expenses. So that wasn't really profit. But I made a little bit of money so I could maybe keep going to other tournaments. So I took the money, reinvested it in other events, and that's how I started to pick up my pace, and that's how everything started. But if I didn't have John and if I didn't have enough luck to kind of pick up money here and there on my first trip, I think I would be in college studying right now.
Well, and it sounded like you had the right guy because even if things went wrong there and you didn't pick up that $2,000, he was going to take care of you. I think he had it set in his mind long ago that he saw something in you, and he was going
Yeah.
to help you regardless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been great to me. He's been great to me all the time. So now whenever I can, I'm trying to give back to him somehow, but it's not that easy. He doesn't like to take anything. So he's
Listen,
like,
He's a
"Nah,
good
I'm
dude.
listen.
good. I'm
As a
good."
guy who mentors like Konas and Lucas, well, you doing what you're doing is enough for him. That's all he's looking for you to be successful and do what you do. If you do that, trust me, that's all you need to do. Do the right things.
Not even successful. You
No,
just
no,
do
no.
your
Just do the
best.
right
Yeah,
things. Yeah, just
just
do the right things.
work your ass off and
No, for
keep
sure.
pushing. Good work.
Good stuff. So at that point, you're like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to play pool 100%. I'm not going to study. At that point,
No, I'm still studying now, but it's just my focus is on pool, obviously. It's just something to have a degree eventually, just a backup thing. But right now, I don't even think I'll need that. But I just realized I have a chance. I have a realistic chance to have an impact on the pool world. I realized that I could be good enough one day to win and to make a living off of it. That's all I needed to know. Because it's not easy in Europe to really know if you could. The Euro Tour wasn't paying well at the time. You had 6 events. Even if you won all 6 of them, you would have made, I think it would have been like 18,000 euros with 3,000 first prize in every Euro Tour. So you
yep.
could be the best and you can't even make close to a living. So I just wanted to see if I had the potential to beat international players and to be on the top. And that's all I needed to know.
What's your next? What's next? What's next for Moritz Neuhausen?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think for sure I will play the PLP, but before I don't know. I'm contemplating whether I want to go to Asia. They have a couple tournaments. Shout out to my sponsors, CPB and Mori. They're setting up an event in Taiwan, which I'd love to go to, but I'm just not sure if I can take all the travel and I have to see. I'm also working on my visa, so many things I have to take into consideration because I'm also signed up for Turning Stone in the beginning of January, which I'd also love to play. I always love Turning Stone.
Yeah, you won that event
So
already.
yeah, I came back to back finals, so I want to keep up the streak. Um,
Nice.
but I just don't know yet. It's really up to whatever my lawyer says to get the visa. I'm working on a visa right now, so we'll see how long
So,
that's
so
gonna
are you
take and
saying you
how.
might play for Team America next year? Is that
No,
what I'm trying, Scott.
No,
I'm trying to get you
no,
players.
no.
It's not the players. It's not the
No, I
players.
know, I know.
I think
Everybody
it's
focuses on the players too much.
yeah, I agree. I think it's more about the overall team, but we spoke about that. No,
Yep,
I just don't want any headaches traveling into the US anymore because I
yep.
know like I ran into some issues in the past and I don't want that anymore.
Yeah, I
So
want it to go
now I'm
smooth.
trying to yeah,
Uh,
exactly. So hopefully I'll get it in time to go to Turning Stone. At least I have permission to travel. That'd be amazing. But if not, it's out of my control. I've been working on it for months now and it just seems to be a little
it'll
slow.
get done.
But
It'll
that's
get done.
okay.
Be
Yeah, they
patient.
get
Yeah, be
done. Yeah.
patient. It'll get
Yeah.
done. It just takes a little time. But
Yeah.
all right, you got anything
Patience
else,
is the
Scott?
key.
No, I think we've touched on a lot. This is one of the longer shows we've done, and I think also
Yeah,
probably
great job, man, Morris.
one of the best
Yeah,
shows
I
that
think so
we've
too.
done.
Uh,
Thank you, Moritz. Thank you
I,
very
I,
much
I got
for
one
coming
little
on.
one. Yeah. Johnny Francisco says you got a magic trick. What's your magic? Can you
Ah.
let? I want to let all the Americans know what your magic.
Do you
What's your magic
Listen.
you
trick?
saw he saws women in half? You take volunteers from the audience and saw women in half. Is that what you
What
do?
is it? What is it, Morris? Tell
Well,
us.
this is the best. So
Money.
when I first came to the States, he said before I left, "Oh, you got a magic trick now." And I said, "What do you mean a magic trick?" He says, "You come with an empty wallet and you leave with a full wallet." And so that's our running joke all the time. Like that's
That's a
why
good
that
trick.
what's
You want
like
your
cause
wallet like this, right?
exactly.
That's
I
it. You
had
don't want this
so
wallet.
it
You want.
was exactly. So I had a time when I couldn't close the wallet because I had like many small bills, like $1, $5, $20 bills, and I couldn't close the wallet. So that's when he said, "Now you know you're a good magician." So that's
Love it.
yeah,
Love
that's a really cool. Yeah.
Before we go, a big thank you to our sponsors who make this show possible: Jay Flowers, Classic Billiards, Tommy's Tattoo Supply, Nick Marino Billiards, Metro Sports Bar, Anytime Billiards, Control the Rock, Agape Sober Homes, Wayne Harriman, Andy Gow, In the Box, PNW Pool Thing, and Hilltop Promotions.